Hello, everybody, and welcome back to How I Make Stuff, featuring today's song, Unapologetic. Unapologetic is the last single of my first album ever, and it just barely came out, so it's going to be a lot of fun to look at. This is it. 35 tracks, which isn't by any means insane. I'm not Jacob Collier, but I am me, and it was all right. Not a ton going on, but that's how I like it. Starting up top with the drums. All of these were recorded live. You know how it is. Yeah, everything is just, it's very bliss. I don't think any of the drums sounded like too harsh or anything. The only thing that I did want to be like extra in your face were the crashes, so that worked out great. They are very in your face, very bright. I don't know. It's a little tricky for me to figure out what kind of sounds I want my cymbals to make because I'm not like much of a drummer, you know. So bright stuck out enough in the mix that I could hear the crashes, and I was like, yes, that's a crash. Like, when everything's all together, you can hear it very in your face. And that's how I wanted it. That's how I like it. Yeah, not much to the drums. 15 tracks of drums, my favorite. Yeah, all recorded at once, thank goodness. No sampling was done. Man, that feels good to say. All right. Guitars, everything in Guitarland was, I don't know, I didn't want a lot of things repeating themselves. I watched a video about Peach Pit and how they like kind of started making things out, and their kind of idea was like, hey, let's not do the same thing more than once. We have like all of this space, let's fill it with different things, not just the same thing over and over again. So in my brain, I was like, this is what I want. If you can look here on the left, we have not too complex of pan patterns. I have some sort of perfectionism, so my pans are always set to some sort of balance of each other, and that makes me happy. All that fun stuff. So looking through this, we have the main guitar. This is the one that you hear in the intro, and it only happens during the choruses and the intro. I didn't like it enough to have it go on for longer than that. This was the first thing that I recorded in the entire song, and in my brain I was like, it's good, it's just not great. And then it, obviously is the main part that leads you into the song. Of course, it's never not like that in my songs. It's always the part that I like the least that leads you into the part that's actually cool, which is these two guitars right here. Oh, how delicious. So, fun stuff was going on. I was talking to my buddy Noah, and he hates reverb. He doesn't hate reverb. He just never uses reverb. And I love reverb. Reverb is my favorite thing in the world. And he was like, dude, you need to start experimenting with not reverb to make the reverb sound better. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then I tried it. I have this completely clean guitar. It's only EQ. That's the only thing on it. Gorgeous. And again, that wasn't something that I liked. But then I tossed on this very stock plugin that I actually like a lot called Heavenly Tweed. I should rephrase. It's not a stock plugin. It's a stock plugin that I edited to be what I want it to be. It's appeared on many Cutie songs, if you could tell. But these two blended together was like a very beautiful combination of crisp and like dreamy. And man, does that not sound amazing? Right? Okay. So those are also mostly intro chorus things. There's a little bit of the second guitar in the verse, but not much. And it's pretty drowned out. I did some automating. Ooh. This is the main verse guitar. Again, same plugin, same preset that I made. The only thing different is I EQ'd out the low ends, a bit more of the high ends, and I turned down the tone on my guitar a ton. That one's not super important. That one just happens during the verses. Cool, awesome. Now, this is the part that, holy smokes, I spent way too long. Way too long figuring out how to get this sound. Oh, it sounds great, though. If any of you are the OGs that listened to my first EP when I put it out, the thing that I was really struggling with when making that was figuring out if I liked myself enough to sing, and the answer was like no. So I used this telephone vocal preset that sounds borderline atrocious, but so good at the same time. So I was really trying to recreate that sound through a guitar, which was a lot more work than it really needed to be. But I want you to listen to this before and after I take this EQ off. Here's with the EQ. You see how like harsh that is? It's like almost disgustingly harsh. It's like, that doesn't sound good. But the second you turn back on that EQ, it like mellows itself out. You can see the peaks. Okay, where'd they go? You can see the peaks are being cut off in the highs. Without the EQ, all of that is like 4 to 6K range, and I just completely scooped that out because I wanted something that was smooth. That was like on your ears like a saxophone in jazz would be. Like, oh man, that sounds good. And then I did it again. I made some thirds. If you know me, I like thirds. Now, here's the fun thing about this. I did 2 years of music school, and music theory was like my shebang. I was pretty good at that. So I was writing down all the combinations of like different harmonies that I could create with this, and it sounded like too basic, I guess. So I was like, hey, what if I just stuck it with the basic parts for a bit and then completely went off track? So this is together, right there. These last two do not match up very well. It's like almost uncomfortable. And then you also have the syncopated rhythm, da, 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 da. And that to me was like, it felt uncomfortable when I like put this in. I was like, I don't know, is that going to be like good? But this is not a good song. This isn't like oh my gosh, rainbows. Like that's not what this song is about. This song is a little gritty, lyrically. So putting that together with the other 4 guitars total, those last two really just speak in like kind of uncomfortable tones. You see how it like leaves you on some sort of cliffhanger? That's what I really wanted it to do. And boy, mission accomplished. Now, probably the highlight of the song is this pre-chorus guitar. I wanted the same thing, telephone vocal style guitar. I wanted it to sound like you were listening through it on a landline. And I'm not going to say that's what I did, because like it still sounds normal. If I was to scoop those EQs even more, you'd be like, holy smokes. But that's not a thing, you know. That's not what I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be like, whoa, it's in there, you know. I want it to be bright enough that you could like hear it going on, but not the center of attention. I wanted that to be the kick drum and the vocal, and especially together. And then it's icing on the cake. The rest of this is just pretty basic strumming. I made some mistakes, and that's okay. You can make mistakes in your songs. Nothing wrong with that. I have a policy. Nope, there's another one. My policy is that I get 3 takes on something. That's it. That's all I get. 3 takes on a solo, a particular solo. I have a different thing about solos. 3 takes on my bass part, 3 takes on my drums, 3 takes on my whatever. 3 takes max. Because to me, I don't want it to be perfect. I think that's bad. And I already have enough perfectionism when it comes to like mixing and mastering and stuff. I don't need any more. Nah, I don't. So this whole thing was scraped and scooped, and I made some mistakes in this pre-chorus, but you don't know. You can't tell, and that's the best part. If I play this through now, I bet you can be like, oh my gosh, I can kind of hear it. Like you hear that first one. And now you notice that second one, but with the vocals on there too, you can't do that. You really can't notice. Bass, oh man, oh, I love bass. I scooped the EQs really interestingly. I wanted it to be like bellowy, so I took out just about all the high end. I scooped up the low ends, and the mids are the mids, whatever. I made a mistake on that bass part right there. And then, funny enough, I looped it. Nice. What more could I want? A looped bass part. I loop a lot of things, actually. Guys, it's okay to loop stuff. Yeah, last but certainly not least, the vocals. I, again, wanted a pretty minimalistic vocal setup. Oh, yeah, I don't do 3 takes on the vocals. That's the other thing. I think it's close. I think I made a rule for myself, like 5 or 8 takes max on a part. Just because if I don't get it in that 5 or 8 takes, I either need to rewrite it or get better or come back tomorrow. So yeah, here are all the vocals. The backups are pretty mellow. I wouldn't say anything crazy or going on. Anything, yeah, whatever. But I know I'm so sick and tired of being right again. I put those on a nice delay bus. Boy, they sound great. I'm going to use that bus in the future. The main vocals, I did some interesting things on this one. I don't put delay on my vocals until today. Well, until I made this. I put it on, bus 6. You think it's rough, so be alone. There was I don't remember who it was. There was somebody that I was listening to, and for some reason their vocals, bad singing quality, but like high vocal value. And in my brain, I was like, how are they like making this sound as good as it is at the level that these vocals are being produced at? Not very well. Like, how are they doing this? And I picked up on this subtle hint of delay in there, and I feel like that made the world of a difference. But I know I'm so sick. So like, you see how it's just there? It's there enough that you can tell it's there if you like really deep dive and listen to it. But you're not gonna really know. And I feel like it just kind of it elevates that vocal just a bit more than it would if there wasn't any delay on it. I'm gonna show you the difference between the two because I'm such a nice guy. Yeah, they're both delayed. You think it's rough, so be alone. Yeah, it just feels like mm, a little more empty. But when I toss those suckers back in, you think it's rough, so be alone. Like you can feel the vocal fall, and then, oh, it's so good, awesome. Anyways, yeah, the rest of the song is pretty cut and dry. I put okay, so my backup thing was no backups on the first pre-chorus, backups on the second pre-chorus, and then on the chorus, of course. I'm not a big backup person, mostly because I'm not much of a singer. Don't come at me. But yeah, that kind of does it. I have one more guitar in here. It's a solo. Most of the stuff that I do now is just done on my amp. It's phenomenal. I'll have a pedal tour up one of these days. If you want to sound like me, it's not very hard. Reverb and overdrive. That's about it. Really, the solo starts right here. But if you look nice and close, we have all of this stuff right here. All of that I didn't originally want to keep in because I was like, I want this solo to be smooth and clean. It wasn't a smooth and clean solo, by the way. It was a little rugged. Made some mistakes. This was attempt number 4. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, that little section right there, you can hear all the little chicken picks that I was doing. That was, oh yeah, also another thing. I did this freehand. I didn't use a pick. Finger picked the whole thing. And that to me was an accomplishment. So chicken picking is when you do like a thumb pick and then like a muted finger pick with your pointer finger on the same string. People can do it really fast. Mostly guys in like folk and country. I am not in folk and country, kind of. So I'm not good at it. But so, fun story about this last little part. This chunk right here, it's the part that goes, there it is. Did I do good? Yeah, so that little section right there was not my intention to keep that in either. That was the one part of the solo that I just had the hardest time doing. For some reason, sliding up 2 frets was too hard for me. In all 4 takes, that was the thing I struggled with the most, surprisingly. So I think it's in the key, but it's in music theory we call it an avoid note. I was so upset with myself for hitting that for the 4th time that I was like, screw it, dude. We're keeping it in. And it's in. I do find it kind of charming now. Especially in the context of the rest of the song. It sticks out, but not in a poor way. I feel like it holds itself down as being there for a reason, even though it was not on purpose. Well, guys, that's just about everything. Hopefully you're taking some value from seeing how I make stuff. Obviously, this isn't, the most interesting song to deep dive and look at, but I think production should be simple. I think from the very start, I was kind of believing that you're not supposed to be producing these massive compositions if it's music that's supposed to be played live, unless, it's an orchestra or something. So to me, overproducing something isn't in my trade. I almost collabed with somebody. I love this guy, by the way. No hate to my friend. But he is definitely on the other side of this horse where everything needs to be done a lot. Tons of layers, tons of tracks, tons of instruments. And that's just not the way I like to do things. I like it simple. I like it cut and dry. And this is pretty cut and dry, in my opinion. It doesn't look like it, maybe, but to me, it's pretty cut and dry. I've done bigger projects. They're just not as fun. the creativity doesn't flow as well. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to this. Go follow me on Spotify, Apple Music. Subscribe. I also made a channel called Very Cute Records. This is my record label that I made for me and whoever else wants to be a part of it. I'm going to be posting how to be an artist videos, podcasts with people around me that are in the music scene that are getting success, just all the ins and outs of what it's like to be an artist. And hopefully you can find some inspiration in that. This is more a passion of mine to figure out than it is me wanting to help you out. Sorry, guys. I just love it. I think it's so fun to teach people how to do this stuff. So go subscribe to that channel too. It should be awesome. Let me know which song I should do next. I don't think I've broken down what When You Do. Maybe I've broken down Long Gone. I gotta check. But yeah, let me know which song you want me to break down next, and I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.